Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Popcorn Problems. My name is Ilan Pressman, and I'm here with my very good friend and co-host,
Nicholas Sapasco. Every week, we'll make sure you're caught up with the biggest news in movies and Hollywood.
This week, we're going to be reviewing Splitsville, one of this last week's big new releases. But before we get to that, what's poppin'? This is where we run through the biggest movie stories of the week. So what's up, guys? I hope y'all are doing good. I'm really excited for this episode. I think it's going to be a really fun one. Yeah, it's great. So let's get right into it. So this is going to be the domestic box office, as we always start with. I talk about the top 3 of the week. So at number 1 this week was the biggest film that dropped this week, which is The Conjuring Last Rites. It opened with 83 million, which is now the title for the biggest horror debut of 2025. And I know it's one of the largest in horror history, which is awesome. It globally accumulated approaching 194 million, and it surpassed it from 2017 as, I believe, Warner Bros. Biggest horror debut. So that's really cool.
It was the biggest of this year? Is that what you just said? Like the biggest horror movie of this year?
The biggest horror debut of the year, and I think it's Warner Bros. Biggest horror debut of all time.
Wow, that's honestly kind of crazy, because I have heard nothing about this movie ever since it's come out. Like, nothing at all.
Really? I've heard a decent amount. I heard it's pretty good. We didn't end up reviewing it just because I'm not really familiar with the Conjuring franchise. You're not really familiar with the Conjuring franchise from what I understand. So just, I feel like I wouldn't have anything interesting to say, so that's why we didn't really go with that. At number 2, interestingly enough, was the Hamilton 2025 re-release. That one came in with $10 million. And Lin-Manuel Miranda still sells tickets. That's what this proves. So I read somewhere online that they're probably going to do like a live action, like a Wicked style movie based off of Hamilton. I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm not a big Hamilton fan, honestly. I didn't watch this re-release. I saw it once in person, and then I saw it once on Disney+. And like, it's fine, but it's not the best thing in the world.
I will
personally
be talking about it later on in the episode, because I watched it in theaters this week. So I'll be talking more about it later on in the episode.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. And then at number 3, we have Weapons with 5.4 million this week, which is crazy that it still is making money. Even with another horror movie in the box office, people are still going to watch Weapons. So domestically, it's at almost 150 million. So that's really cool. I also want to mention Splitsville. It opened at 12th. It's not a big movie. I'm not surprised. I don't know how wide it is, but it opened at 12th. So
I can't believe it's too wide. Even here in New York, there was only like 4 theaters near me. No, 4 theaters like in the New York City area playing it, which is honestly like quite surprising for me. I was like, wow, I really thought, usually smaller indie films like get more traction here, but that one doesn't, which, whatever. It is what it is, I guess.
Interesting. Yeah, but we'll talk more about that movie when we get to the actual review. So that is the box office for this previous weekend. I have a few interesting news stories that I want to talk about. I'm going to save the best one for last. And I'm really excited to kind of talk to you about this, Nick, because we haven't really spoken much about this. So the first thing that I read today that I thought was pretty cool is that Michael Caine, who is Alfred in the Dark Knight movies and in a lot of other great stuff, he's a really talented actor. He is coming out of retirement. He's 92 right now, and I believe he retired in 2022, one of those years. And he's going to be returning for The Last Witch Hunter 2, which is, I'll tell you right now, it was, so it came out in he retired in 2023, and he's coming back for the sequel to this movie, which came out in 2015. This is like Vin Diesel's passion project, and it's based on his D&D campaigns, because I guess Vin Diesel plays Dungeons and Dragons.
I didn't know that. Neither one of the two things that it was based off D&D.
Until researching for this.
Yeah, episode. I didn't know it was based on D&D or that Vin Diesel plays D&D. That's interesting. That's okay.
Yeah. So, the first one was based on his D&D campaign, and this is the sequel. and Michael Caine was in that first one, so he's coming back to reprise his role. So that's pretty cool. I like Michael Caine. I honestly never heard of this movie, The Last Witch Hunter.
Me
so I'm kind of interested. I'm not gonna lie, because I think it's cool that Vin Diesel plays D&D. So there's that.
I mean,
the next thing
I've never heard of this movie either. I don't know. It could be interesting. I don't know. It kind of sounds like Vin Diesel slop to me. Like, you know, there's like a certain movie that Vin Diesel's in these days, I feel. Like Fantastic not Fantastic. What am I saying? Fast and Furious, yeah. Fast and Furious. And also like the XXX movies, and also Bloodshot, if you remember that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Never saw Bloodshot. I know what you're talking about, but I did refuse to watch it.
Okay, for those not in the know, Bloodshot is a live action adaptation of a superhero comic book that I've never read and that I've never heard anybody talk about. And Vin Diesel was behind it, and he did a movie, and I never watched it, and it didn't look good to begin with, so I don't care. So that's what I mean.
It was just like evil Superman.
Exactly.
I know James Gunn was also somewhat related. He did something for that movie. I think he was a producer.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Vin Diesel kind of like goes into like a certain like slop of movies. Like he just kind of plays the same character, does the same thing. Which is fine. It works for him, but I don't particularly care. I might watch. Who knows? I don't know. Michael Caine. I mean, there's got to be something that got Michael Caine out of his goddamn swinging chair or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 2 years. It's not like a long retirement. Yeah, he retired, I think, the same way that Jim Carrey retired.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh my god! Only a script with gold, written by a golden pen with golden ink will take me out of retirement. Bro does Sonic 3. Sonic which, you know what, I'm not complaining about. He was great.
That's neither here. Yeah, that's neither here or there. That's a good movie, but you know, golden ink is debatable. Anyway, the second story. I have 3 total stories for today. The second story I want to talk about is it's kind of continuing our conversation about Dwayne Johnson last week. So the Smashing Machine just premiered at Venice Film Festival, and it received a 15-minute standing ovation. It was just confirmed today that Dwayne Johnson has signed on with another movie with the same director, Benny Safdie. It's called Lizard Music, and he will be playing Chicken Man, which is a whimsical, eccentric 70-something-year-old. That's all I kind of got off the internet. So, I mean, it's super early into development, I guess. But, you know, he left a lasting enough impression on Benny Safdie to have him for the next movie. So that kind of gets me just a little bit more excited for the Smashing Machine, which my excitement is kind of growing each and every day. I hear good things about it. So I think it's under a month. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, same. I'm also very excited for Smashing Machine. You know, it's like the biggest movie coming out like next month or something like that. I don't know. A little bit more detail on Lizard Music, because I did hear about this piece of news. It's based off a book, and apparently the book is about a boy who teams up with a 70-year-old lizard to uncover, I guess, like not a conspiracy, but like uncover the truth behind a late night broadcast of lizards who do music.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what the book is about, apparently. So I don't know how much of it he's going to be like faithful to, how much is going to change. Also, apparently that's the reason why I don't know if you've seen recent pictures of Dwayne Johnson, but like he's looked very thin. He's looked very he lost a lot of weight, but the reason he lost a lot of weight was for this role to play the 70-year-old Chicken Man. I don't know if he's going to be 70 in the movie, but yeah, I don't know. I'm more excited for this movie than I am for Smashing Machine, just because I feel like with a lot of...
It's a more interesting idea. I mean, you know, the Smashing Machine is just another wrestling movie. Exactly. It looks great, but it's just another biopic. But this is interesting. I think it's based on a book.
Yeah, it is based on a book. Yeah. And it's just like you said, like it's a more out there idea than anything that I think the Safdies have done if I can remember correctly. It just sounds bonkers. It sounds completely strange, and I'm like so down for it. I'm so down for whatever the Smashing Machine
Yeah.
is, it looks at least good. So whatever the Lizard music is, it could. I have potential that it'll be somewhat quality, even if it is, or if it's not quality, it'll be insane enough to. Like, if it's bad, it'll be in bad on an insane level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm honestly very interested to see where Dwayne Johnson's going
For
to take his
sure.
career now, because it seems like he's pivoting. He made it clear that he wants to
Yeah,
pivot.
yeah,
So I guess this is him putting his money where his
yeah,
mouth
for
is.
sure.
So the last thing, which I'm very excited to talk to you about, Nick, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. So earlier last week, James Gunn took to Twitter and he announced the sequel for Superman, which is going to be releasing in 2027, July, was it 9th? July 9th, 2027?
I can fact check that if you want to continue.
Go ahead. Yeah. And something that got me really excited is that both him, not just both, all three, James Gunn, David Cornsweet, the actor of Clark Kent Superman, and Nicholas Hoult, the actor of Lex Luthor, they all shared concept art drawn by real comic artists, including Jim Lee, which I thought was awesome. And it shows, from my interpretation, that Superman and Lex are going to be teaming up in this movie, which I'm so excited. I'm so happy that we're going to have another Superman summer in literally 2 years, which is insane to think. I mean, the Batman came out in 2022, and it's going to take 5 years for that movie to get a sequel. And this movie came out maybe 2 months ago, and it's already has a sequel going into production soon. I was so happy when I found this out, dude. I was literally doing homework. I was behind the desk doing homework. I hear my phone like blowing up, and then I check, and I'm like, "Oh my god, the gun is reloaded. We are so back. The gun is
cocked. The gun is cocked."
Yeah. So, Nick, what are your thoughts on James Gunn confirming Man of Tomorrow for 2027?
So, yeah, for sure. So first off, you are correct. It is July 9th, 2026. Or 2027, my bad. I have a few thoughts. Well, I'm very excited. I'm just playing off the bat. I'm very excited. Another Superman movie, especially because I wouldn't be surprised if what you're saying is correct, based off the artwork, that they do team up. In general, like, more... I want more Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult. I think he was great.
He was probably the best part of that movie. I mean, there were so many great parts of that
parts.
movie, but he was so good. He was
absolutely
perfect.
He was insane. He was I don't know. He was just really good. Before
he's gonna be at New York Comic Con, and I hope we get to meet him, because me and Nick are actually gonna be going to New York Comic Con this year in about a month, actually, and he will be attending. So I would love to get a chance to lay my eyes on his bald
fucking
head.
hype. Okay. But yeah, a few things though, just about, I guess, I don't know. There used to be so much time. I don't mind waiting a little bit, like waiting a while. Like, for example, for the Batman and the Batman 2, which is also releasing in 2027. Yeah.
Oh, that's something I want to get to after you finish
okay.
this thought. Speaking of them both releasing in the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
year.
So I don't mind there being more time, just first off to build up hype, second off to like build quality, because these movies take time, and I don't know how much time the production was for Superman, but I feel like at least from inception to the actual release, it was a good bit, and I kind of like that. I like waiting for a movie a little bit more. I like the anticipation of it, and in terms of like also the DCU as a whole, like in terms of the timeline of everything, I would like a little bit more of other characters getting the spotlight, instead of just like constant Superman, which, I'm not complaining about the fact that like, the Superman movie, I guess I quite literally am, but what I mean to say is I'm happy that the Superman movie exists. I'm happy that it's coming out. I just wish we had a little bit more of things that were in Superman. But at the end of the day, I do trust James Gunn, and James Gunn we trust. I trust his vision, and I don't know. I feel like whatever I'm thinking, it's gonna be 10 times better than that. You know what I mean? Like whatever plan,
Probably.
whatever movie it turns out to be, or whatever plan he has for the DCU as a whole, as a cinematic universe, it's gonna be way better than anything I could ever imagine. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I'm hype. I'm so fucking hype.
Yeah. I also want to mention, I mentioned how it's going to be 2 summers of Superman. It's kind of going to be 3 because we do have Supergirl as well next year, next summer. So almost guaranteed that he's going to be showing up in her movie. So that's going to be 3 summers of Superman. So that's something I wanted to mention with that. But this movie, as we mentioned, is going to be coming out the same year as the Batman 2. Not only just the same year. 3 months before. Nick, do you think that can mean anything, or am I just going crazy? Do you think
I'm anti-merger. I'm anti-merger. I think we should have another Batman. I think we should have another DCU Batman. I love Robert Pattinson, and I do think, listen, if the merger does happen, which is looking less likely every day that a new set photo for Clayface comes out, if the merger does happen, I wouldn't have a problem with it necessarily.
It's a Photoshop, dude. Those Clayface set photos are not real. Those are Snyderverse haters, making those up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Conspiracy.
It's
Put on your tinfoil hats, everybody. But I don't know.
Photoshop.
I just like the Batman being in its own, being unconstrained from the chains of DCU. And I would like think of it, we can have 2 cakes, bro. We can have 2 cakes. We can have the Batman and then DCU Batman, and we could have a completely different interpretation.
Yeah, but people are dumb. Do you think?
Here's the thing:
that the average movie-going brain is gonna be able to go see Superman, and then 3 months later, oh my God, there's a Batman movie coming out, and then they're not at all related? I feel like audiences have been conditioned that these movies connect. And especially when they're coming out in such a short time frame from each other, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be confusing, and I don't know. I really am waiting. I think James Gunn and Matt.
No. You finish.
I think James Gunn and Matt Reeves need to make a video where they're looking into the camera straight on, dead face, and say, they're not merging. And I think literally until the day we get because that's not going to happen. So until the day we get a casting announcement, I'm going to keep, as I'm in my padded room, banging on the wall, I want them to merge. I want them to merge. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
I don't know. What I feel like is likely to happen is that, because I do believe that the Batman will be a trilogy, and then it'll just end at movie 3, Nolanverse did. I feel like maybe after movie 3 we might get a DCU Batman for people to I guess understand the fact that 2 Batmans exist. But I also do think that we can have 2 Batman movies existing kind of at the same time. I don't think people are that stupid, and I do think people are stupid, but I don't know. I feel like there's a way to make that happen where it's understandable to audiences that this is DCU and this is its own thing. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. It would be incredible for David Cornston and Robert Pattinson to interact as the characters, though. I'm not gonna lie. I would like seeing that.
And I'm sure they will eventually in some multiverse movie in 20 years down the line if they don't end up merging. I don't know. I saw this one TikTok of it was 2 scenes. One from Superman. The Superman scene was the one of Lois telling Superman oh, you trust everyone. You're so trusting. Whatever. Blah blah. When the imp is fighting and they're in the building. That scene. And then it's a scene from the Batman where Selena's you don't trust anyone, whatever, and it's the parallels. It's it has to be done on purpose. I say as they're dragging me into the room. If you can't tell, I really want them. to merge.
I couldn't tell actually. I thought you were just playing around. No, but no, I just I mean, like I said, if they do merge, I'm a happy camper. I do think that there's a lot of potential between the chemistry of those two characters, of those two actors, really. But I also believe in a DCU Superman for its own. I believe in his. Sorry, I said Superman. I meant Batman. Mm-hmm. A DCU Batman for its own, played by their own actor with their own history and own. I don't know. I just want two cakes. I want two cakes. Really, honestly, is what it is. I want two Batmans, and I don't really care if people get it.
That's fair. That's fair, especially if they're both good.
That's what
that
I mean.
Would be awesome.
100%.
You know, at the end of the day, whatever serves the story the best, that's what they should do. So that will bring us to the end.
Wait, can I give an update on one of last week's news pieces, which I'm sure you heard of?
Yeah.
We talked about the Call of Duty movie last week. And this week I heard that actually Steven Spielberg was attached to direct, or wanted to direct, a Call of Duty movie, and brought it to Paramount Pictures, and they said no.
Said no. How stupid. How
I know I
dumb.
said last week about like how Call of Duty has no iconography and this, that, and the other, and how I don't think a movie could work more than just a war movie. With Steven Spielberg attached,
it could.
I can't. It could have actually be something. I mean, hot take, I don't really like Saving Private Ryan all too much, so if it's like that sort of thing, I don't know if he's directed any other more movies. But I feel like, I don't know, that I just think that's such a crazy thing to think about, just like Steven Spielberg directing a licensed property, and more than anything, Call of Duty of all things. Like, I just think that's insane.
And it really takes away my excitement for the project, because they didn't want to allow him to direct it because he wanted creative control on it. So they're probably going to be super stupidly nitpicky and everything, and it's going to turn out to be a fucking slop fest. So I'm happy you brought this up, because we really did lose when it comes to that.
For real. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what that movie's going to turn out to be, but it's not going to be anything. I don't think it's going to be anything with any sort of vision or anything like that. It's just going to be slop. It's going to be more video game movie slop. So whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it.
Okay. Thank you for adding that. So that brings us to the end of What's Popping and into what we watched. I'm going to start this week by talking about something I watched. Funny story. So yesterday, I went to the movie theater to watch this movie called Twinless. I was under the impression I was going to be watching the movie for this week's main review. And about 50 minutes in, I realized Dakota Johnson is not showing up. And I was a bit confused. And so I text Nick. I'm like, hey, I'm watching Twinless. Like, are we sure Dakota Johnson's in this movie? Because I remember mentioning her last week when I picked this movie. And he's like, the movie's Splitsville. And I'm like, dude, no way. So I went to, I actually can't believe this happened. The biggest brain fart of my life. So I'm in Twinless, and it was fine. The movie was good, but I was just so like, damn, while watching it, that it was just, I don't even think I really gave it too much of a fair shot. With that being said, I did have an okay time with it. The movie is pretty much about this guy whose twin just died. And he meets this guy named, could not tell you his name. He met this guy at like not twin rehab, but like twin counseling for like when you were losing your twin or when you lost your twin. And then they become friends. And there is a plot point that gets kind of revealed towards the middle of the second act that really, not even the second, I guess towards the end of the first act, that kind of really reshapes everything that you've seen so far. And then after that happened, I was pretty into it. Didn't really like the start of the movie. I was kind of bored. And then that specific twist happened, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, it really, it took me aback. And I don't know if it's in the trailer. I didn't see the trailer or anything. So I don't know if it's like a known thing. I'm not going to mention it just in case anyone wants to go watch it. But it was interesting. I think Dylan O'Brien gave a pretty good performance. I don't know the name of the other guy who is in the movie, but he also gave a pretty good performance. I thought that it was sweet. The message of the movie was sweet. It was very personal. I wonder if the director maybe went through a similar situation of losing his twin, and that's why he made the movie. I wouldn't be surprised, just because you can definitely feel the emotion in the movie. And overall, I had an okay time with it. I would recommend it if you're in the mood for like a thought-provoking, I guess, drama.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I have seen the trailer
Yeah.
for this. I know Dylan O'Brien is in it. It didn't really look. It looked like interesting enough, I guess. Superficially, I was like, oh, this looks like it could be interesting, but I'm probably not gonna have time or just the energy to watch it. But I don't know. I mean, listen, if there's a night where I don't have anything going on and I might just pop it on, because I mean, it kind of sounds like something that'd be up my alley, especially with this ominous twist that you're speaking of. That's kind of, I don't know. I like when movies have something going on and then like a twist completely like, reframes everything that you've thought about or everything that you've seen so far.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So
I totally
I might
agree.
just give it a watch.
Yeah. So Nick, what have you?
Yeah.
watched
So this week I watched Hamilton in theaters. This
Okay.
is my second time watching it. The first time I watched it was when it first came out on Disney Plus, and I've never seen it in person. I grew up kind of with Hamilton. Like I was introduced to it, and as a kid, and I didn't really care for it until just like I started talking to more people, and I was like, you know what, this is actually kind of fire. And then eventually I just became obsessed with it like when I was younger, and it was like kind of really the first musical that I was like, oh, this is peak actually. And so yeah, I listened to the songs, I was addicted to it. I know a lot of the words and such. And so watching it, and when it came out in Disney Plus, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I was very much over my Hamilton phase by then. But I still enjoyed watching it on Disney Plus like during the pandemic when it came out. But then in the theater watching it this time, it was so, I don't know. It just felt it felt insane. It really felt insane. I just felt it 10 times more. I felt like that little kid version of me like coming back to like sing
That's
the
awesome.
songs
That's so
and like
cool.
just like so hype of like seeing these characters and such. And it really just comes down to the music. Just the music. I don't know. Yeah, you said you've seen it. It's just nonstop song to song, and I feel like for
It is,
most
yeah.
for other people that like might be annoying. And I could see how that could be annoying. I don't know if you find that annoying. I just know people in my life have said that.
For me, it really depends on the context and just the way Hamilton flows.
That's
I
what
think
I
it
was gonna
works.
say.
But it really, for me, it really is project to project whether I mesh with it or not.
For sure. No, but that's really what I was gonna say. Is like this is a 3 hour long, musical, but I don't feel it at all. And honestly, by the end, I'm like, damn, I want more. Like I felt like that ended too soon. I wanted to know more. I wanted to hear more songs. I just wanted more brilliance, really, honestly. And I'm not even that much of like a Lin-Manuel fan. A lot, really, honestly. It's just I feel like this project specifically. Also, as somebody who's kind of like into American history and politics as a whole, this is just kind of like my niche, and also as somebody who listens to hip hop a lot, I don't know. I just really loved it. I felt like it flowed so well. The chemistry between all of the characters and like how I guess alive they feel, is just so nice. And I feel like I'm just preaching to the choir here because like we all know that Hamilton is this like uber successful multi-million-dollar hit. It's like
It's like the musical. It's definitely one of the contenders for the
for
musical
sure.
of all
Like
time.
I'm not saying anything new or revelatory here. It's just I don't know. If you have the opportunity to watch it in theaters, I think you should 100% do that. I don't know if it's still in theaters. I don't know how like long of a run it's having, but if you're a fan of musicals, if you're a fan of Hamilton, if you're a fan of good music, really honestly good hip hop, and I don't know, you just want a good story, want a good character piece, I think Hamilton is your best bet. And I just remember beaming after I came out of that. I guess music. I feel weird calling it a movie. I'm gonna just call it a musical. Yeah, I just felt so good. It felt so nice. It felt like coming back to a kid version.
That's
of myself.
awesome. Let me ask you: is it like just the exact version on Disney Plus, or is there anything added to it?
In the beginning, there's like this like short, I guess like interview documentary sort of thing with the main actors talking about, oh my god, it's been 10 years. This is what Hamilton means. This, that, and the other. Which I don't really care for. It's like whatever.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. And one other thing, I wouldn't mind seeing a Wicked style version of this musical. I think something interesting could be done.
I think it's inevitable.
100%. Yeah, it's most likely going to happen. But I feel like if Lin-Manuel is attached and then if there's real heart behind it, it'd be interesting.
I just don't want him directing it. I don't want him directing it, and I don't want him in it. I think you could have some of the old cast members come back, but I think if you're gonna do a movie similar to how they didn't bring like Idina Menzel and the other actress to play them in Wicked for the movie, like you can have him have a small cameo, but I wouldn't. I think just to have the movie stand out and be its own thing, they really should try to have someone new take over the main role. So it could be interesting. This is all speculation. It's not like a movie's confirmed. Sure. It's just something I read online. Sure. It could be interesting.
That's an interesting take. Just because okay, at least for Wicked, I feel like Idina Menzel, she was the main cast. She's like what a lot of people think of when they think of the Wicked Witch of the West. But at the end of the day, she was just like another actress playing the Wicked Witch of the West, and she wasn't really directly associated with like the production or the creation. At least to my knowledge, I don't think she was.
No, yeah, she isn't.
But I feel like so much of what makes Hamilton so special is Lin-Manuel Miranda's like mind behind it, like his singing, his writing, his energy, his performance. I mean, I would want him as Hamilton for the movie, especially because I feel like if he ages, I don't think that's a problem. Not unlike let's say the movie adaptation of not Be More Chill. What's this movie called? What's this musical called? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
In the Heights?
No, not In the Heights. The one with the boy in the cast and he has a striped shirt and it has nothing to do with Lin-Manuel Miranda. Dear Evan Hansen. Unlike that movie where they got the main actor.
Oh my god, that movie looked
looked awful. I never even watched it, but from what I heard and from what I saw, it looked absolutely atrocious, and you should not hire a 35 or whatever, however his age is at the time, to play a teenager. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Unlike that movie, I feel like Hamilton has so much of Lin-Manuel Miranda in it, more than just like the main character performance, but also like I said before, the writing and everything like that. That I kind of feel it's kind of hard to think of a movie adaptation without him. Would I have a problem necessarily?
Well, I'm not saying to have it without him. He should 100% be involved as a producer. He can even be the writer.
I don't mind him directing it though.
I just think Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I understand that. It's just, I think to keep it interesting, they should let someone else have the wheel.
I also don't necessarily have a problem with him like performing in it. I wouldn't have a problem with somebody else doing it. I mean, I would just be more skeptical of it if somebody else were to perform as Hamilton.
I see.
I'd be like, oh, okay, well, we'll have to see what his singing chops are and his certain like style and what
it'll definitely be an interesting. Yeah, it'll be an interesting, I guess, game for the casting director to find the person to play Alexander Hamilton. But still, I think I would rather him direct than act in it. I really don't want him, if they make it, I wouldn't want him playing
That's
Hamilton.
Fair. That's fair. I do see what you're saying, which is to make that movie have its own identity separate from the musical that already exists. I agree with that, and I think that could be something. Like I said, I wouldn't mind somebody else performing if they pick the right person, if they know what they're doing. It's just a hard game to play. You know what I mean? It's a hard role to cast. So I don't know. It could be a thing. It could not be.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's not even confirmed at this point.
I agree. Yeah. Okay. So, do you have anything else that you want to mention that you watched this week, or should we move into the review?
Yeah, I have one more thing. I watched The Roses.
Go ahead.
Starring Benedict
Okay.
Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman and Andy Samberg and another SNL lady, which I forgot her name, Kate McKinnon. It was okay. It was a fun romp. I feel, for those not in the know, it's a story of Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch's characters who are married in the film, and kind of like their troubles through marriage and eventual divorce. That's not a spoiler. It's like part of the plot. Yeah, I don't know. I like the film. I thought it was nice. I thought it was fun. It was funny. I feel like a lot of the humor didn't work for me because it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of very SNL ish, which I watch SNL. I like SNL, but it's in its own
Really, I wouldn't.
realm of comedy.
I've seen. I've seen the trailer, and it doesn't strike me as SNL.
I mean,
esque. So that's
SNL-esque in the way of like the writing and the way of like how the characters speak and tell jokes. Everybody's like kind of like snarky, kind of like oh, I'm saying something depressing but have like a happy face with it. So it's like funny, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Sarcastic.
Sarcastic.
Yeah, exactly. It has a very sarcastic sense of humor, which
Okay.
which I found funny at parts, but I just feel like it was a lot of it, and I don't. It just kind of lost its charm for me, kind of through as the movie progressed. Regardless,
Mhm.
I still liked it. I still think it was an enjoyable time at the movies, and if you're looking for, weirdly enough, like a romance affirming film, I feel like this could be it. This could be an interesting. It's not your basic rom com. It's not your basic rom com, and it is
Yeah.
another rom com which I feel like we are not getting these days. A lot of, other than our main movie of the week, which we will be
Shitty Netflix ones. We got plenty of
well,
those.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We don't get much big budget.
Get a bunch of shitty Netflix
Exactly.
ones. Yeah.
We don't get much big budget.
I wanted to watch.
So I think this is a nice film. But sorry, you were gonna say?
Yeah, I wanted to watch this movie, and so would you say it's worth checking out?
Sure. I'd say it's worth it. Like I said, if you're looking for like a nice time at the movies, a nice little romance film. It's not too long. It doesn't ask too much of you. I would give it a good recommend.
Nice. So there actually is. You reminded me of one last thing that I did watch this week that I'll quickly mention before we move into the main review. As I mentioned last week, Regal is doing daily movie re-releases, and on Friday I was able to catch Interstellar.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was not how I saw it in December, which was in an IMAX theater. This was just a regular, it was one of the larger 2D auditoriums, but it wasn't like a premium screen like Dolby or IMAX. But it was still as good a time as it is. That's, one of the movies of all time. One of the best movies of all time,
sure.
sorry. Like, it is so good. It is so watchable. The runtime goes by so fast. The music just hits so good in a movie theater. Like, hearing the speakers is just, it was so awesome. And watching it in a theater full of, people that obviously love this movie, it was a great fucking time. I feel like I'm repeating a lot of myself of when I watched The Dark Knight from last week. And that's because I love these movies for a lot of the same reason. They're made by the same director. I urge you, try to find a schedule. To all the listeners listening right now, try to find the schedule for these re-releases and try to catch one. There are so many good ones coming out. So you really, at least one, it'll be a great time. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Interstellar.
I don't disagree. I mean, I think you were right the first time. I do think it is one of the movies of all time. Honestly, classic. At this point, it's basically a classic. I don't have any fear in saying that. Like, I think we're gonna look back on Interstellar like we do Jaws, or I don't know, 2001, or just classic movies like that are well renowned as good.
Yeah, it is so good.
And
it is so good.
Yeah, no, I didn't get the opportunity to watch it in theaters, but I mean, listen, every single time that movie plays, like I have to sit down and watch. I was literally in the kitchen like a few months ago, just like cooking quite literally, while my roommate was in the room watching Interstellar, and I had to sit down for those whole, how is it long, like 2.5 hours, something like that.
It's near 3 hours, but you really don't feel
I don't know. I had to sit down for those 3 hours and just like watch the whole thing because I don't know. I was absolutely captivated just from it being on the screen. It's insane. It's an insane movie. I remember when I watched it like a lot younger, I didn't really care for it. I didn't really find like a lot of point to it really. But now watching it like with these new eyes, with these older eyes, it really is incredible. You just can't. I can't think of anything else like it in terms of like a movie. I really can't. Maybe 2001. I haven't seen it yet though.
I mean, most of you have probably seen Interstellar, and if you haven't, just go watch it. What are you doing?
What are you waiting for, bro? Like, for real.
What are you waiting for? So that brings us to the end of what we watched and into our main feature, which for this week is Splitsville. I'm going to start with a quick spoiler-free summary, and then we are going to move into our thoughts. So, when his wife asks for a divorce, a man runs to his friends for support, only to learn that the secret to their happiness is an open marriage. Nick, what did you think of Splitsville?
I loved it. I think this is top 5 movies of the year for me, really, honestly. It just worked on so many levels for me. I thought it was hilarious. I was like laughing the whole way through. It was like right up my alley in terms of like the comedy of it. Not only that, like I loved the performances. I loved the way that like, I don't know, the camera moved throughout the whole thing. I felt like the composition of the scene was like very well made, and also the music, dude. The music was insane.
Yeah.
I just really feel like
totally.
this film just like had an energy that I haven't felt in a lot of films this year. Honestly, I loved it. I can keep talking more about it, but I want to give you a chance to talk.
Yeah, so I'm happy to report I also freaking love this movie. I think it was so good. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. It was so funny. I think the script is just really smart with the way like the lines are written and the way the story's kind of told and the way you see these relationships unfold. I think it was just really smart. I think it flowed really well. I think the characters were awesome. I really, in the first frame, the movie starts with our main character named Carrie and his wife, Ashley? Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, and his wife, Ashley, in the car, and I saw this guy, and I immediately was like, damn, this guy's life sucks. Like, I mean, like, his beard is, like, disheveled, and he just looks like a guy going through like a midlife crisis, and that's how I knew I was in for a good movie because I immediately bought it immediately. Sure. And maybe it helped because I'm not familiar with the guy who plays the main character Carrie, but he was hilarious. He was so funny. Those two characters were funny. I think the other husband, the other male lead or co-lead in this movie, Paul. Also really, really funny, who is, by the way, played by the director of the film.
And writer,
Found that out afterwards. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
And Dakota Johnson, who plays his wife, is also really good in this movie. I am not really crazy with a lot of her performances. I think her line readings are really funny. Because I don't think you can get, like, if you made any other actress play some of her characters, like, they will just never give the same performance that she does because she just has such a particular way of saying things. But here, like, she really stood out. Like, this, I think, is probably my favorite performance from her. I think she was fantastic.
For sure. Absolutely. Sorry, were you finished? I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. No, I mean, I can't agree more, honestly, on everything you said. I feel like all the characters are played super freaking well. You can immediately tell who they are and what they do by what you said, by like the first shot of them, by the first look at them. I guess my only, I wish Ashley's character was a little bit more developed. I wish we got a little bit more screen time with her in terms of like, especially with how her character ends, which we'll talk about later. Um,
I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I do wish I got a little bit more of her, but uh, also I can't imagine the movie being any more than what it is. I think the runtime of it was good, was great actually. Like if it was a little bit
Yeah, it flowed
longer.
really well.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it flowed really well.
Oh, I just said it flew. I just said it flew really well. Like it was an hour 40 minutes, and I mean, I sat down. I feel like I got up like very soon after. Like the time went by
No, for
fast.
real. Yeah, no. I don't know if it would flow as good if it was like that 2 hours or even an hour 50. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It was so. I'm just so inundated with how great it was and with how I don't know. I can't call it a perfect movie, but it's really almost up there, honestly.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really nice
Mm-hmm.
surprise. So, is there anything else you want to mention before we move into spoilers?
Um, no, I mean, I think we're good for spoilers, honestly.
Okay, so this is your guys' spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie and you still plan to, now's your time to click off. All right, spoiler thoughts. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so like I said, I do wish there was a little bit more development with Ashley's character, especially with the way that the whole ending is. I wasn't the biggest fan with how Carrie and Ashley's relationship ended. Well, it didn't end, but that's kind of my problem. Is I feel like I felt like there was just like something there was a little there was just something so unexplained between her wanting that separation, then the realization of her wanting him back, and then just kind of everything being okay afterwards with them ending up having the child that Carrie wanted in the beginning. um it felt a little too easy of a conclusion for the amount of emotional turmoil that that these characters have been going through for the past hour and 40 minutes. Um, but I do like the way that Paul and I forgot her name, but Dakota Johnson's characters ended. How they were Julie.
Julie?
Yes, I do like the way that Paul and Julie's character, their relationship actually ended, and he's just kind of around now. I think honestly,
Yeah.
they got the biggest laughs out of me more than anybody. Like just their whole interactions, their whole
Oh,
everything that
totally.
was going on.
Totally, totally.
And yeah, I guess like one of my other complaints for the movie would be like one joke specifically where there is a character who's talking and then another character who's like in the background kind of like trying to talk over them or just talking in general. I felt like the first few times it was funny, then it just kind of kept doing it and I was like, okay, it's kind of becoming distracting from what the main character who's in the actual frame is saying. But that's like the tiniest nitpick of a otherwise incredible film that completely caught me by surprise. I was looking forward to it. I saw a few trailers and I saw a few commercials and I was like, oh, you know what, this could be like honestly like really funny. Um, but I didn't expect it to wow me the way that it did, honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know. I just think that the dynamics between all the characters were so good. Like, the movie really was the best when when the two quote unquote couples, I guess, or I guess actually not so much. I guess more so like the trio of Julie, Paul, and Carrie when they're on screen. I mean, the movie just is magic. I mean, they're so funny and they're so believable in like the situation that they're playing. It's honestly so funny. One of my favorite like ongoing bits is that after they divorce, Carrie still is like living with Ashley for some bit, and so he's like seeing all of the
Yeah.
guys that she's like bringing home. So first she brings home like this guy with a mustache and plays guitar, and then like he comes down, he's butt ass naked, like coming down to go and try to serenade Ashley to find Carrie there, and Carrie's just so nonchalant about it. He's like, "Hey, bro, you want a sandwich?" And then like they cut to another clip, of Julie with another guy. Not Julie, sorry, Ashley coming home with another guy, presumably like days later, and then that first guy is just there, and he's just there for the whole movie. And then the next guy comes, and then both of the guys are just there. Like, they just stay, and then, like, the house just keeps getting more and more full, and it's so funny. Especially that first guy.
Yeah, no, he's hilarious. He's
like,
great.
There's this bit of him, like, he was, like, a recurring bit in the movie of, like, him, like, needing a resume and, like, getting, like, mentored by Carrie. Dude, it was so hilarious. My favorite character in that movie.
I also love how towards the end Carrie says like, I didn't like any of those guys. You thought I was just becoming friends with them? I didn't like any of those guys. Okay, well, some of them I liked, but it was like, bro, that's so fucking funny.
Just that guy. I loved it when he was trying to kick everyone out when Carrie was fed up with everyone being in the house. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, if you got everyone get out." And he's like, "Ah, he's not gonna love me." It's like they had their own little like bromance going on, and it was just so funny. It was so fun to watch. He kind of reminded me of Marcelo Hernandez for some reason. Like for some reason, I like without the mustache. In my brain, he was Marcelo Hernandez.
Oh, I see it.
And it was just, it was great. I'm not gonna lie. It was such a good bit. And it was awesome.
I think one of my favorite sequences was just the initial fight between Paul and Carrie. It felt like a cartoon at that point. It felt like Looney Tunes. How these characters are just like completely whamming at each other, completely destroying everything. And then when they pause for a second after Paul destroys the fish tank, and like they save the fish, and then they just keep fighting, and then.
Oh my god, they put the fish back into the bathtub. That was
dude, the way that they traveled with them with their shirts like fucking kids, dude, like kids collecting rocks was so fucking funny to me. And also on top of that, when Carrie and I forgot her name again. Holy cow. Julie. When Carrie and Julie are at the fair with their with Julie's kid. And he gets all the fish
and the fish bags
and the fish bags on the roller coaster. So and, dude, I was laughing that whole fucking roller coaster shoot, and then at the very end when they just explode in his face.
So good.
I lost it.
The visual gags in this movie
it's genuinely insane. I feel like this movie is just like it could be a great Looney Tunes movie, honestly. Like, make this man write a Looney Tunes movie. I would love to see it.
Yeah, it would be a great sitcom.
For real.
Like, these characters and just that situation would have worked. And if this was the 70s, probably would have been made into a sitcom. And I would eat it up. That shit would be awesome. 100%. So funny.
It's great. No, this honestly, I feel like everyone should. I'm really disappointed with the fact that this isn't getting a wide release, although I'm not surprised at all. Just because I really feel like this is a movie for almost everyone. Like, I feel like everyone would come out of this movie and find some sort of enjoyment from it. Yeah, another thing kind of that you mentioned already, but I just love how the film flowed between character and character so well. Like, it wasn't really that jarring. It felt a little aimless at times, but I was deeply invested in every character and what their story was and what they were going through at the time.
Yeah,
and I think that's a brilliant thing. That's a brilliant thing that can be done in a film. Honestly, that's not something that can be easily done. So the way that they just like transition from each to each was great in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I guess one last note that I kind of want to mention is that I'm really happy this movie wasn't glorifying cheating.
For sure.
For the first act of this movie, I was like, what are they trying to say here? And then it's revealed that later on in the movie, it's revealed that both the people in the open relationship never actually
never do anything.
Were partaking in the open relationship. They were just doing it. They both had their own separate reasons for doing it, but it was just a really like good moment when they revealed that it was all kind of just for each other and just so that they don't, one of them was like, so they don't have to feel pain, or feel the guilt or whatever. And I just thought it was a really good reveal. And I think it was really good when he was like, "Oh, it meant something to me," and she was like, "It meant something to me too." Um, it was a
No,
really
for real.
nice reveal.
I also agree. I think that moment was really nice, and I also agree with you that I do like how this film like didn't glorify cheating, and you know what you would think would be a movie about like you know celebrating open relationships and everything like that. Which you know to each their own. They can do what they can do with anybody can do what they want. Um, but I like how this film really maintained the
That
that
love
love
is
is important.
important, and that sex
Yeah,
means
yeah,
something. It shouldn't just be given out like it's
absolutely.
changed.
Yeah, no, I think this movie
Yeah,
is great, and I think it's really weirdly life affirming and really relationship affirming.
yeah. It was a very
Mm-hmm.
feel good movie, and that I wouldn't have expected that watching the
Mm-hmm.
first act. So it really took me by surprise. I really recommend this movie. I really enjoyed it, um, and I really think this is something that like every couple should watch together. I feel like it would strengthen a couple's
For sure,
bond if they watched it
for sure,
together.
for sure. Yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah.
all I had to say about the film. I think it's great. Everyone
All
should watch it.
right. So, with that being said, that's it for episode 4 of Popcorn Problems. Thank you so much for joining us. If you made it this far, you're the real MVP. We'll be back next week breaking down the newest Stephen King adaptation, The Long Walk. In the meantime, you can hit us up on socials at Popcorn Problems Pod and let us know what you thought of Splitsville. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're using and DM us your hottest takes and suggestions. See you next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.